Now we're on week 3, which is day 11 of the 20-day challenge where we're doing the end of year um, reset. And this reset is obviously just to help you with your ADHD in the best way possible so you can go into 2026 just kind of embracing your traits more, get those projects complete that you keep holding back on, and just navigate this journey a lot smoother, right? So habits in action, that's kind of what I want to deal with in this lesson. And this week we are turning the awareness that we've done in the first 2 weeks into daily action, right? The foundations are set now, right? So if you're new here, week 1, we were doing the awareness module, right? And it's a week of just giving you a bit of awareness and ways for you to understand yourself better. And then the week 2 was direction. It's just where you're headed now, like knowing this information. You've got your integrity contract now. You understand who you want to become, and your why. You've got the direction now, the GPS, so you understand how you can actually get there in terms of like what's the first actual step. You zoomed out and then you zoom it back in now. And then now what we're doing is the daily habits that honor these foundations that you set in the first 2 weeks, right? So we move from preparation to doing. And a lot of the time we feel like we need to be really good at planning. But I'm finding that on this journey, I've noticed that every time I plan ahead and I try to be, ahead like and plan, it doesn't really go very well for me. Things normally go wrong or things don't go the way that I have it in my head, and I start feeling a bit disappointed about that. And I've realized that it's not really so much about planning, it's just more about preparation. So you're preparing for what's coming up, but just to know that there's going to be things that might, go wrong. There's things that might happen, like, um, I might wake up like tomorrow because I want to do this, this, and this, and my daughter's sick, so I have to stay with her in the morning. Like, there's things like that could happen. Um, I might have a plan to go for a run, and then there's a crazy storm tomorrow, and I've done all this like energy into like planning how I'm going to do my whole entire day, and then that storm just stops me from doing that thing, right? There's so many things, right? It's just we just have to honor that life is sometimes going to get in the way, and just like we at least prepared to do something. We're not trying to be too rigid about things, right? We need to be flexible. We need to allow spontaneous to come in. So action before belief. So you don't really fix limiting beliefs, right? Because I feel like this is the big bottleneck for a lot of us is that we have these limiting beliefs. Like we believe something and we have it in our head that it's real and it's not, right? It's so like I was speaking to a client yesterday on an onboarding call, and there's a concept that she was thinking about that she just really was thinking that is real. Like she really, really thinks it is real until I just broke it down for her. That's like, you do know that you're the only person that thinks that this is real right now, right? And the person that you even speaking about that is the piece of the puzzle that you're worried about that probably has no idea that you're thinking this either, right? In fact, guaranteed she's not worried about this. You're the only one worried about this. And it's like a light bulb moment for her. But it's like this happens to us often as ADHD, as me as well. Like there's sometimes I'm just like it's a pendulum. Like there's these pendulums that we're honoring and they're swinging like crazy. And until we just put our attention away from it and we say, no, I'm not putting energy into that because it's not true, it's not real, and we direct our attention on what's actually solid, like and concrete and real, and is honoring the journey as well and honoring the contract. Like put that energy that you're putting into something that doesn't serve you into something that's going to serve you, because that energy you can choose. You get to choose where you put that energy. Like that. This is the main thing that I want you guys to get from this. Like, is that you getting to choose where you put your energy. You can put your energy into doom scrolling all day, or you can put your energy into a project that's going to be something that makes you feel fulfilled and that it makes a difference to humanity, or it makes a difference to whatever it is that you want to accomplish with that project, right? So I say that to say this, right? We're not trying to fix ourselves or fix limiting beliefs or fix anything. All we're trying to do is outgrow these things by taking action. We take action, we get data, we get feedback, we review that feedback from the actions, and we take more actions that align with just improving that process until we are just really good, right? And the first few times it might be a bit like cringy, like, oh man, that didn't feel good doing that because obviously it's new, right? But just know that you're going to do 3 or 4 attempts more and you're going to get there, right? And you have to go through that process. I call it the cringe phase. So ADHD is a partnership, not a battle. Like, and I think for 99% of people that come into my community that follow my account, just anything that I do, a lot of them just have a really bad relationship with ADHD. They see it as that ADHD is in the way, and you're not beating ADHD. This is not what it is. You're not trying to beat ADHD. You're teaming up with it. You're saying, okay, so this is how my brain's wired. These are the traits that, challenge me sometimes, but how can we work as a team to get this desired result that we want, right? And a lot of the time, it's just understanding that we're just going to have some really good days where everything just feels effortless and flawless and just we're on fire. There's moments you're just like, whoa. Yeah, man, starting to feel really good about yourself, right? Like if you're combined like me or you're hyperactive, you start, dancing around the house and, like if there was a camera watching you, that flipping out, that people would just, crying of laughter because you're just feeling yourself, right? You're gonna have those moments, but then you're gonna have those friction days as well, where you're just slumped in the chair, you just feel like, man, defeated, right? And you just feel like the resistance is high, and because there's a challenge that you just don't really want to deal with. Like you're gonna feel that you're human, right? But it doesn't mean you can't take action, and it doesn't mean that you can't reframe and team up to like, okay, so I'm having this resistance now. How can I use ADHD to team up? Like what can I do to like just help me get past this resistance? Because this resistance is likely only going to take 5 minutes. As soon as I take action, after 5 minutes of action, like if it basically not there's not going to be any resistance anymore because you're going to be in it, right? The resistance is just to start, right? So you're going to have those moments. And just remembering, just like, man, every time I go to the gym, I feel great. I'm resisting going to the gym today, but the last 20 times I went, I flipping was happy with the result that I went and I felt good. Nothing's different about going to the gym. Yeah, you feel a little bit resistant now, but the outcome's gonna be the same. You're gonna go there, you're gonna feel great about doing it, and you're gonna go, oh yeah, I did it, and I'm glad I did it, so on and so forth, right? So both are normal, and I think that we just have a concept of what normal should be, and because we are trying to honor that so much, when we're basically not giving ourselves some grace and having compassion for ourselves. So the goal is to honor your relationship with ADHD. You've done a contract, you have your integrity contract now. That's who you want to become. You need to honor that every day, right? And some days you're just going to feel a little bit like legged out, and it's okay. You can still honor it. So the FBI framework is your daily check-in, right? And we're going to go into it tomorrow where we can go into more detail about how I actually do it and how I use it on a day-to-day with my dashboard. But friction, right? What felt hard today? You just got to really note that down and just really just notice, right? Where's the blessings? Like you need to be grateful for some of the things that are going really well in your life, or what went well in terms of you honoring your contract. What really went well? Let's track that. Let's just see if we can just keep that up, right? And then what's the intentions now based on those two things? We've got those two bits of data now. What do we want to do tomorrow to make sure that we're still on track with this contract that we've created for ourselves, right? And daily habits shape your reality, basically. So you're stepping into a version of yourself that already exists. And the thing is, what we tend to do is we tend to shape a reality based on our past experiences versus what the contract is stating, right? So we're honoring more, I failed at this, so I shouldn't do it again. And, we're just honoring that, and like we're just trying to keep that version alive of the one that failed and how it felt at that time when when you failed and all this stuff. Like this comes down to that you want to have each of these actions be a vote for the person that you're becoming, right? So every time you honor your word, you're voting for the person that you're going to become. You're getting closer and closer and closer. If you think about 1%, it's like 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. Some days you're going to have a really good day, so that 4% will actually be 8%. So you've done 4% on top of that, it'll compound, and that 8 will be 16. And like sometimes you're going to get that, right? Sometimes it'll be 1%, sometimes it'll compound double, right? But just be prepared for that and just make sure you're at least doing 1%, right? Your habits aren't about fixing you. Like this is the thing. I think a lot of people use the language of like fixing, like there's nothing to fix. You're great. The problem is that there's a lot of people that made you believe that you're not. And you've been honoring that for so long that now you actually believe it. Not real, right? So I want to ask you as homework, what is your biggest bottleneck today, or even this week, or just in general, like recently? What's the biggest bottleneck? And what you want to do is diagnose the constraint that you're having in your life right now. You want to identify what's taking up the most mental real estate right now. And it's just the first thing that you're just thinking about, like that's just constantly on your mind right now. That's just unresolved. That's the best way to discover this. It's the thing that's making it hard for you to concentrate, to stay focused. Like whatever that is, it's unresolved, it's in the background, it's just nigging at you, and you need to deal with it. And how you deal with it is obviously with the FBI. And that's what I'm going to go through tomorrow, is using the FBI to be able to turn this bottleneck into a breakthrough, right? So that's all I want you to do is just diagnose a constraint. What is the biggest bottleneck? And then tomorrow we're going to how you can approach this on a day-to-day basis to obviously make some really positive changes in your life. Anyway, take care. Peace.